When you're 5'4" or under, a calorie deficit just doesn't really apply.
But for now, you have to go a period of time, it's about 90 days, 90 good days of sticking to the plan.
Just don't sit there and think about what you're gonna eat all day.
Howdy y'all, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Melina, formerly fat, currently fed up. There is a plane flying over me. If you are watching this on Saturday, that means I am doing my 50K bike ride. Originally, I was supposed to run the 50K, but I injured myself, so biking it is. We raised over $3,100 for my local food bank, so thank you so much to everyone who donated to that. I will be making a whole video on that, so stay tuned. In today's video, we are checking out TikTok fat loss advice / tips. The last one I did, it was actually pretty good. The vast majority of the tips in that video were spot on. This is even more fun, at least for me, because I am currently in a calorie deficit. I hired a coach. Her name is Paula. I have posted about her in several of my different videos. People DM me all the time asking if I coach. I do not yet. I will eventually. It is in the works. It will happen. I always funnel people to Paula if they ask me if I coach, because she is incredible. She has the same mindset as me, but she is much more educated than I am when it comes to health, wellness, fitness, and fat loss. She's been in the industry for over a decade. Crazy. Early next year, I plan to do a fitness photo shoot, and I want to get peeled to the gills. Yeah, that's why I hired her. Takes all the brain work away from me. She tells me what to do, tells me what to eat, tells me how to train. I check in with her, and that's that. I've been working with her now for 1 week. Today's actually 1 week. Let me know if you guys want a video on that. Yes, this is technically fat loss, but it's not fat loss in the form of like I need to lose weight to get healthy. This is purely for aesthetics. I saved some of these TikToks, and I always say I don't really use TikTok. I'm starting to use it not to scroll, because I just don't have time to sit there and scroll through freaking TikToks, but I am starting to post more on there. So if you are on TikTok, go follow me, I guess. All right, the first one we are starting with is short girl fat loss tips.
When you're 5'4" or under, a calorie deficit just doesn't really apply to you. Whenever I post a video talking about short girl fat loss tips, I inevitably get someone in the comments being like, no, because when you're short,
I'll let her continue, but calorie deficits do absolutely apply to short people. The only way to lose body fat is to get it sucked out of you or to be in a calorie deficit. End of discussion. Of course, there is more nuance, which I do think she will speak about the nuance here.
Need less calories, so it's just as easy for you to be in a calorie deficit as it is someone who's taller who requires more calories. Let me tell you,
I high-key disagree with that. I agree with what she's going to say most likely, but I high-key disagree when people are like, well, you're shorter, you don't need as many calories, which technically, yes, that is true, and it is technically fair. However, when you look at how our society views food and the portions and how other people expect you to eat, it does make eating at maintenance or right below maintenance for shorter people, mostly women, much more difficult.
As someone who is only 4'10" and I've lost 25 pounds, that's not true. Because
so for my stats, I am 4'11" and I have lost over 50 pounds, and I've kept it off successfully for 5 years. Currently, I'm sitting at 110, and I think for the cut, honestly, I don't know how far we'll go.
When you're short, your metabolism is lower at baseline, so you burn less calories just by existing. So to get into
my BMR, so my basal metabolic rate, aka your coma calories. If you were in a coma, this is the amount of calories you would need simply to stay alive, is around 11 to 1200.
Calorie deficit, you have to consume even less calories. Whereas someone who is taller, the goal is just eat less, move more. Increase the amount of calories out, lower the amount of calories in, and you'll lose weight. For someone who's short, it's not that simple because we just have less calories to play with. Example, this is my maintenance calories.
Okay, her maintenance, so she's 4'10". I'm not sure how much she weighs, but her maintenance is 1439. The macro breakdown, that's not correct. I think this is just a calculator that she used. Now, I will say, if you are short, you have a responsibility to get your NEAT up, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So this is movement that you do that is outside of exercise, mainly in the form of walking. If you're short, unfortunately, you do not have the luxury of not working out if you want to lose weight. Period. End of discussion. I am so sorry, because you're not going to sit here and put yourself into a 500 calorie deficit and be eating 1100 calories, 800 calories trying to lose weight, because you're going to be malnourished, Your hair's gonna fall out, you're gonna lose your period, you're gonna be sluggish and irritable all the time, you're not gonna have any energy, and then guess what? You're gonna hinge and gain all the weight back. So you do have to prioritize your non-exercise activity thermogenesis.
Someone who's 4'10". This is how many calories I need to eat in a day to maintain my weight. So I'd have to subtract calories.
Which, by the way, my maintenance, so I am 1 inch taller than her. I don't know what her weight is, but my maintenance right now is 1,700 calories. So there might be something a little bit off with her stats, because 1 inch shorter, it's really not that much of a difference. So I am curious about her activity level
From that number. For someone who's taller, you can get into a 500 calorie deficit pretty easy if your metabolism is somewhere in the range of like 2,000-ish calories per day. I tried to do that. That's not gonna work. Even though I do need less calories, I'd be easily super malnourished. I would lose my period. I'd be incredibly irritable. I would be frustrated. I would give up, and I'd also be hyper focused on food. And a lot of times, and I know because prior to becoming a fat loss dietitian and I needed to lose that 25 pounds, I tried every wrong which way first, including slashing calories. All this to say, just because you're short doesn't mean you can't lose weight. It's entirely possible. Again, I'm living proof of that. However, you just have to be more strategic, because it's not as simple as just slashing calories. You'll need to choose a much more modest deficit. You'll need to be a lot more strategic about increasing the amount of foods in your meals that are going to keep you full and satisfied for a long time. You need to be more efficient with your exercise, and you need to be even more well acquainted with your psychology and your biofeedback. So being able to tell what your body's asking for and responding to that. If you want me to go more,
I'm so sorry about the planes flying over. The only times that I really get to record during the week is going to be during lunch at my full-time job. So this is what we're working with for now. Otherwise, I just would release one video a week, which I know you guys would riot over.
more in depth on different tips that'll make fat loss a lot easier when you're short, I'm happy to do so.
I absolutely agree with this. What I tell fellow shawties is, when you are short, your margin of error is much, much, much smaller. So you get a woman that's, 5'8", 5'9", whatever, a tall goddess, and if she's in a calorie deficit and she kind of like eyeballs things here and there, it's not the biggest deal because her margin of error is a lot bigger than ours. Whereas, and I was just talking to Paula about this, we have hoisin sauce, which I did not know that hoisin sauce's first ingredient is brown sugar. I had no idea until I looked at it yesterday, and I was like, oh, this is why I like it just so much. 2 tablespoons is 90 calories. Thankfully, with hoisin sauce, you don't have to use a lot of it when you're cooking, but when I was making it with my tofu or my chicken thighs or whatever it was, I was like, oh, I don't really need to track it. It's not that much. But then I'm like, Melina, be so freaking for real. If someone else told me, oh, I kind of just like eyeball the hoisin sauce here and there, it's really not a big deal, I would be like, you need to track that, because it might be, okay, 2 tablespoons of hoisin sauce during the day, there's 90 calories. You're using some spray oils that you're not weighing out. There's another 40 calories 3 times per day. Oh, your creamer, you're half and half. Well, I don't really use that much, maybe like 30 or 40 calories worth. All of those calories add up, and if you were to add them up throughout the day, you could possibly be hundreds and hundreds of unaccounted for calories, which can then take you out of your deficit, especially as a shorter woman. All right, go to the next one, underrated fat loss tips.
One of the most underrated strategies ever that most women don't take advantage of is calorie banking. If you're in a calorie deficit, if you're trying to lose fat and you're also trying to live your life and enjoy your lifestyle, go out on the weekends, have social events, go to weddings, or maybe just incorporate some of your favorite foods.
I'm gonna pause here really quickly. If you are on a fat loss journey and you are serious about this, you should not be going out to eat every single weekend. It is completely unnecessary and is a surefire way to derail your progress.
Every now and then and feel a little bit less restricted, because let's be honest, a calorie deficit and counting macros, of course it's a form of restriction, right? For a lot of people, like me included, it doesn't feel as restrictive as if we were doing something like I used to do for weight loss, like only trying to eat broccoli and chicken for every meal. So if we can strategize to make calorie and macro counting a little bit more realistic for a busy life, why wouldn't we do that? I'm Kelly, I'm a weight loss coach. I help you learn how to fuel for weight loss instead of restrict for it. So basically what calorie banking is looking at what your calorie deficit target would be for weight loss. So say I set a client's calorie deficit target to 1,535 calories per day. What we can do for calorie banking is look at how many calories that would be across the entire week, which if we do the math, it's 10,745. So essentially what this means is you're gonna lose the same amount of fat. You eat 1,535 calories every day, or if you take 10,745 calories and spread them equally across 7 days of the week. So just based on experience for my clients, this works really well. Maybe doing like 5 days of a lower calorie target and then having 2 days like Saturday and Sunday for a higher calorie target. If you're somebody who travels a lot on the weekends or has a lot of social outings, this works really well. Something that I also do with my clients who travel for work, for example, is if they're having a work trip like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they are at home. On those days that they're traveling, we'll do a higher calorie allotment so that it's easier when they're having to eat out. Because when they're in control of their food at home, it's a lot easier for them to hit a lower calorie target with higher volume, higher protein, and not feeling as hungry. So you can adjust this based on your lifestyle. I also have clients who, depending on their cycle, if they're really, really hungry, say the first 2 days of their cycle, will easily increase their calories across those 2 or 3 days every single cycle that they have. And then we'll decrease them after that across the month. Kind of spread that out so that they're seeing the same fat loss result, but they're just able to kind of dictate when and where they want to use their calorie budget to make it easier on them to stay consistent. If you're struggling staying consistent at a calorie number because of lifestyle reasons or cycle reasons or whatever it is that you're experiencing, higher hunger at certain times of the week, this can be a really helpful strategy for you to be able to stay consistent and not sabotage your results due to like higher hunger at certain times or lifestyle circumstances that make it harder for you to execute.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. If you use the Lose It app, I think it actually gives you an option to do that within the app, which is really nice. I always say you're not losing weight on a day-by-day basis, such as for an example, today I'm in a deficit, so today I lose weight. Today I'm in a deficit, today I lose weight. Your body works on averages. So yes, exactly like she said, if she puts her client on a 1,500 calorie deficit, she can do 1,500 all 7 days, or she can lower it slightly Monday through Friday and then raise it a little bit more on Saturdays and Sundays. Totally fine. If that works for you, that works for you. The only asterisk I will give is if you are doing this so you can simply go out to eat every single weekend, I think that's going to be problematic, especially for people who don't have discipline, because a part of calorie counting and being in a deficit is learning how to restrict yourself properly, learning how to eat properly, and hopefully breaking the sugar/junk food addiction that you have. So there is a difference between using this method because you want to go, out to eat with your mom on every Saturday, or you have like church and then you want to go out to eat after that on a Sunday, versus, well, I'm just going to use Saturday and Sunday to eat all of the junk food and all the snacky foods that I can't eat during the week. I think there's a huge difference between those things. Okay, advice from a former fat girl who, quote, couldn't lose the weight.
Oh, I know one in your life will tell you this, but you don't need a new workout plan. You don't need a new gym membership. You don't need a new paleo. You just need to stop eating so much food. It's not the workout routine. You're not exercising. You got to stop. You got to put the fork down. You got to.
Yes.
You got to stop ordering the fries.
I like that.
You got to stop eating the chips. I'm telling you, because I love you. And if you really want this goal, you've got to stop. That's all it is. It's your diet. That's it. It's not your workout plan. It's your diet. If you can't lose weight, it's your diet. It's your diet.
It's the food.
Yes, some people have hormone things, but
it's still the food.
You can't replace the laws of physics. Calories in, calories out works every time.
Every single time. Yes, Anna. Anna Grace, this is a mini clap, right? I am mini clapping for you. It is the food. You do not need a new workout plan, like she said. You don't need a new gym membership. You don't need a new diet plan. You just need to be consistent with what you are doing. This is probably the most common thing in the fat loss world, is people say, oh, I try to count calories, it just doesn't work. What they're really saying is they try to count calories for 2 weeks, they were over restricting themselves, they end up hinging, they don't lose weight. Or they start a diet, they do it for 3 weeks, give up, eat everything back, they don't lose weight. Or this is probably the most common one, Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday, on point, hitting your macros, hitting your calorie goal every single day. Friday comes, Saturday comes, oh, I just got to live a little, I'm not going to track, it's just a couple handful of chips, it's just a few extra heaps of peanut butter here and there. All of a sudden, you have eaten yourself out of your weekly deficit, you don't lose weight, so you think it doesn't work. I promise you, if you can be fully consistent for 6 months, 6 months of full consistency, not 1 foot out, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, not, oh, I'm consistent Monday through Friday, but the weekends I'm whatever. No, I'm talking full consistency for 6 months. You can completely change your body. You can change your entire body in 6 months. Am I saying it's going to be like, your absolute goal dream body? No, that takes years. By the way, I hope you're aware. The body that you are dreaming of most likely takes years to achieve. It's the simple point of it. Those fitness people you see in the gym have been training for years, if not decades. You don't need anything new. You don't need anything fancy. You don't need anything shiny. What you need is consistency. You need to be consistent. You need to be disciplined. And if you're not doing those things, if you're not doing the things you are supposed to be doing, you cannot complain. You cannot complain about the results you did not get from the work that you did not do. It may seem like you are doing the work, but if you take a magnifying glass and actually really look at what you are doing, I promise you, you are not as consistent as you think you are. And I'm not saying you're bad for that. Everyone does it. But if you were trying to lose body fat, trying to gain muscle, trying to recomp, this stuff takes consistency. It takes honesty. It takes discipline. And that's why it's hard. It's freaking hard. It's simple, but not easy. Someone said, working out is a tool. Once I realized this, I focus on my diet. You can burn as much calories as you want, but you can't outrun a bad diet. Period. Spot on. You cannot outrun a bad diet at all. I don't understand why in like the fitness world or weight loss world, exercise is put on a pedestal. Exercise is great. I highly recommend it, obviously. Like, duh. You should be exercising. But exercise is more for your body. It's for your mental health. It's for your cardiovascular health. It's for your muscular health. All of that. It's not there to make you lose body fat. That's why it's so frustrating when people post their before and after videos or pictures and they're like, oh, I did this because of like Pilates and running and lifting. And it's like, why aren't you going to say what you actually did, which was be in a calorie deficit? Because you can walk, run, Pilates, lift all you want, but if you're not focusing what you're putting in your mouth, you are not going to lose weight. Of course, if you're bigger, then yes, that it will naturally happen because it is much, much easier to lose body fat the bigger that you are. That's just how it works. But you need to be in a calorie deficit. Someone said, I didn't know how much I was eating until I started counting calories. Yep. Someone said, but also going from sedentary to adding in working out is definitely going to help. I don't eat more, but since moving have become far more sedentary than ever. Today that changes. I've gained weight from lowering activity level. So plan is to work out 5 days a week, even if it's starting with slow, long walks. And then the creator said, for sure, movement is so important, even regardless of weight loss goals, but most people vastly overestimate how many calories they burn when they work out and end up being hungrier because they're working out, and on top of that, they will overeat. The biggest weight loss culprit is always food. But yes, I recommend strength training 4 to 5 times a week, a few days of cardio, 10K steps every day. Yes, Anna, oh my God, she's incredible. Can confirm when I stopped eating the pasta plus the bread bowl, I saw results. Yeah, eating two sources of carbs in one meal is extreme big back behavior. It's like eating macaroni with a side of mashed potatoes and chicken. It's like, whoa. Replace one of those carb sources with the vegetable, please. Alrighty, the only fat loss reality check you need. 3 tips.
This is the only fat loss reality check you will ever need, and especially if you want to be a totally new person by the end of this year. We got 6 months, and that's more than enough time to be a completely different person. Let's get this. What's my weight? And if you didn't know, I'm your sister coach to Fit and Finest. I lost 100 pounds naturally, plus more over the last 8+ years. I own the women's only gym here in Houston, Texas. And I want to give you a fat loss reality check. If you've been on this journey for a while, or you're not seeing the results you want to see, or you're just now starting your journey and you really want to get to this fat loss, I'm going to give you my first top 3 tips. And if this video gave you some insight on what you should be doing or what you should be changing to get to these fat loss goals this year, I want you to comment part 2 below. I'm going to give you the next 3 tips. And I can go all day about this. So let's get it. Let's go. Number 1, hunger is a part of the game, especially when you are in a deficit, especially when you want fat loss. You will be hungry. That's just what it is. You shouldn't be starving to where you finna pass out, but you will be hungry. You are eating less than your body wants, or you are eating less than your body usually has. You will be hungry, but your body will adapt. Typically in about 2 weeks, your body adapts. So stick to your deficit. Stick to it long enough for it to work, and then you start to see the results, and that helps you stay consistent. Results make you consistent. That's just what it is. Hunger is something that you can manage. You don't have to solve it every single time. Every single time you're hungry, you don't have to eat.
Yes, hunger is not an emergency. Me and her and I are not speaking about this in the disordered way or the Anna or the Mia way. Absolutely not. If you are taking this as Anna Mia advice, that is not what I'm saying. So do not take me out of context. Hunger when you are in a normal, slight to moderate calorie deficit in a healthy way, because yes, being in a calorie deficit can be healthy or unhealthy. For example, I'll use myself as an example. I will not give actual numbers because my numbers as in for my deficit is irrelevant, but I will say it is above my BMR. We are not going below my BMR. Absolutely not. I'm eating over 120 grams of protein per day. So, and vegetables and all that. Well, I'm getting in my nutrients from vegetables. That's what I meant to say. But hunger is a part of it. It's a part of it. Your body is used to eating at maintenance or slightly above. My body, for example, I've been maintaining my weight, oh God, 6-ish months. I think I just went back and looked. I've been maintaining 110 for around 6 months. And my maintenance has been 1,700 calories. So I've been naturally eating around 1,700 calories. So maybe some days a little less, some days a little bit more, but it does balance out to 1,700. So my body is used to 1,700. I'm in a deficit right now. And my body is like, excuse me, ma'am, where's the rest of our food? Where's the rest of our food at? And yes, is it slightly uncomfortable? Yes, but it's not an emergency. I'm not going to go stuff my face just to get rid of that feeling. No, I have a goal, and a part of that goal requires being in a calorie deficit.
Understand when you're hungry. Understand why you're hungry. Make sure your macros align for your goals.
Yes.
And keep pushing through. Watch when you do that consistently, your body will start to change. It is going to start changing fast. You're going to feel so good. Number 2, fat loss has a cost, and it's not forever. You will have to say no to some outings. You're gonna have to say no to happy hour with your friends and dinner every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You're gonna have to say no to the lounge, to the bar, to the club for a period of time. Eventually you'll get back to a phase in your life where you are able to plug those things in and you're still able to reach results. But for now, you have to go a period of time. It's about 90 days, 90 good days of sticking to the plan before you decide, okay, I can go have a little fun. I have something to celebrate. Other than that, we ain't celebrate nothing.
Yeah, what are you celebrating for? You've celebrated enough in your lifetime. Stick to your plan. Like she said, 90 days, you will see progress in 90 days if you are being honest and if you are being consistent, diligent, and disciplined. You will see change in 90 days. I'll check back in with you guys in 90 days. Well, that'll actually be around the time that I do the photo shoot. So yeah, I will be checking in 90 days, and I have been consistent. I have been diligent. I am the type of person, I like structure. I like rules. Why do you think I joined the Marine Corps? But yeah, she says do X, Y, and Z. Yes, ma'am, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. This is why I'm paying you. And yes, I did pay her with my own dollar. So it's not like she's coaching me to get like shout outs or anything. She doesn't need shout outs because she's freaking awesome and she's built her business on her own. But yeah, you should go follow her though. She does post a lot of excellent content.
Just know that it's not forever. Be selective, and the sacrifice will be well worth it. Since the next time you pop out, they're gonna wonder how and why, and you're gonna be the reason. Tap in, lock in, and don't tap out. Listen. And number 3 to our fat loss reality check: understand that getting on the scale is data. These things help you understand your hormones, your stress, your cycles throughout the month, your water weight. These things help you. It helps you collect data. Don't use that daily scale number. Use the average. If you are consistently not seeing that scale move, then it may be time to change your deficit. But understand that just because the scale isn't moving doesn't mean your body fat percentage isn't moving.
Correct.
Make sure you get a proper scan, get a professional scan, and make sure it makes sense for you. Because you could be dropping fat and building lean muscle, and sometimes the scale takes some time to move. But if you are in a true deficit, the scale should be moving. And if it's not moving, we may have to reconsider and or be honest with ourselves about the little things that we're having that we're not actually tracking that could be causing us to get into a surplus. And those are my first top 3 reality checks for fat loss. If this video gave you some insight on some things that you should be doing to make sure that you hit goals this year, I want you to comment part 2 below. I'm going to give you my next top 3 fat loss reality check hacks. Let's get it. Let's go.
Yep, absolutely agree with everything that she said, especially the last point. Your scale, your weight is simply one data point. One data point out of a sea of data points. I understand people get so nervous and stressed about the scale, but you need to understand that it is just one tiny data point in a sea of them. And the scale doesn't know. It doesn't understand what you are doing. The only thing it understands is weight. That does not mean fat. For example, this is actually a great example. I'll use myself. 1 week ago, when I weighed in for the first time with Paula, well, she wasn't there, but you know, starting the training, The day before, I had a very heavy lifting day and I ate very salty foods, lunch and dinner. And I knew the scale was going to reflect that the next day. Did I let it freak me out? Did I get all anxious? No, because I know my body is, one, holding on to water because of my lifting and the salt, and two, I'm desensitized from the scale. I weighed in at 114.3 pounds. Yeah, I was like, God damn. And then what did I weigh in today? 110.4 or something. Was it 110.4? It was something like that. So the scale doesn't understand training. The scale doesn't understand your period. The scale doesn't understand your sleep. Sleep is a huge one. If you're not getting good quality sleep, you might want to fix that first before trying to lose body fat, because sleep is imperative to losing weight. If you're not getting good sleep, the chances of you actually losing weight are very slim to none. You're going to run yourself into the ground. Okay, let's go on to the third one. What does it say? Weight loss tips, down 80 pounds.
I've lost 80 pounds in the last year. Proof. And here are some tips that helped me lose the weight, and I hope that they will help.
I love how she has a Diet Coke.
You too. First, social media. Follow who you want to be like. Get rid of all the mukbangs. Get rid of all the food channels. Start following weight loss influencers, okay? I follow Mina Zali. She is a lifesaver. She helped me throughout my entire journey, and she just helped me stay motivated. You want your social media to be full of people that you want to be like to motivate you. Every time you go on your phone and you're doom scrolling, you want it to be motivation and not something that's going to get you to stray from your diet.
Yeah, I think that's okay. You just have to be very careful about comparing and watching other people online, because I mean there's a few different examples. The first one being, a lot of these fitness influencers, one, are lying. A lot of them edit their photos. They make their certain body parts bigger, smaller. It is very easy to do on CapCut. Alexandra Rodriguez and Glitter and Bagels does it all the time to make themselves look smaller, which is hilarious.
I want to show you all how easy it is to edit bodies in CapCut. The left clip is completely untouched. The right clip is edited. If you're not looking for it, it goes virtually unnoticed. Running it back so you can see again. Watch my waist, mind you. This took less than 10 seconds to do. Imagine the fuckery influencers can do with 10 minutes or 1 hour. Trust no one. Question everything.
The vast majority of the time, fitness is their job. Their job is to look good. And what that means is the vast majority of their time is spent on their bodies. It is spent on food. It is spent training. And the average person simply does not have the time or the money to be doing all of that. So it is hard. I would say be wary about comparing yourself to fitness people like that. Number two, for me, I had to unfollow people that did not experience the same journey as me. And what I mean by that, and this might be controversial, I don't know, I personally do not relate to women, and this is not shade to them at all, because we all have our struggles, but I do not relate to women who started out skinny and just needed to gain muscle. That was not my journey. My journey was becoming class 1 obese due to overeating, suffering with food addiction my entire life, from childhood, being addicted to sugar, being addicted to fast food, being addicted to junk food, not knowing how to stop, not knowing how to eat properly, how to eat healthy foods. My issue has never been I can't eat enough. My issue has always been I love to eat, and I love to drown out my feelings with food and booze. Not anymore for both of those things. I still do follow a handful of women who did start through that journey because I just like them as people, but I found myself feeling bad and comparing myself to the starting off skinny girls who only needed to gain muscle. And a big part of that is I hold a lot of my weight in my lower stomach. I'll post a video or a picture right here of how I looked at my heaviest, or one of my heaviest, and you can see like my stomach they call it like a bee belly, but the top part was big and then it kind of went in, and then the bottom part was also big but even bigger. And because that whole area stretched out so much, I'm left with stretch marks there, so it looks like I had a baby. I have stretch marks on my lower stomach, on my sides, and on my boobs, and then I was also left with loose skin. So that part of my stomach, I don't know if I can ever have it be like flat like the girls who started skinny and then just gained weight, because oftentimes those women, when they bulk, yeah, they're gaining some body fat, but they're not gaining the amount of body fat that I had and then having to lose 50 pounds to get rid of all of it. So I know everyone's journey is different, everyone has their own struggles, but again, I always found myself comparing myself to those women when it's not fair, because our journeys are completely different. So now the vast majority of people that I follow are either educational or women, and some men, but mostly women, who started out bigger and have lost the weight and then gained muscle, because that was my journey. That's what I relate to, and it doesn't make me feel bad about myself.
Second, walk. Move your body.
Yes.
You do not need a gym membership.
Yep.
All I have done to lose 80 pounds is walking workouts with Grow with Joe on YouTube, and I've walked outside and on my treadmill, and that is it. Okay? Walking is so underrated.
Yep.
When you're walking, you want to walk at a faster pace so that you are in that fat burning zone, and you want to walk for a good amount of time, at least 30 minutes. But even 10.
Yeah, however long that you can squeeze in a walk, that's totally fine, because you can go on multiple 10-minute walks per day and then have it equal 30 minutes to an hour or whatever it is. Walking is underrated. Like I said earlier in this video, you need to be moving. You should be moving your body. Humans are not meant to be sitting down. I am uncomfortable just sitting here. I don't like sitting. I hate sitting. But when I lost my original weight back in 2020, the gyms were closed. So the only thing I did, track my food, eat in a deficit, and walk. That's it.
To 20 minutes, great. You know what? Because walking is better than not walking. So just anything. Third, don't buy food.
And the reason why walking is so important is because it is considered NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Walking can also be considered exercise, but the vast majority of walking that people do is considered NEAT, which is totally fine, because your metabolism is your TDEE, your total daily energy expenditure, is your metabolism. That's what your metabolism is. The biggest section on the bottom is going to be your BMR, your calories burned at rest. So everything, all the functions that your body is doing naturally by itself to keep you alive, that's where the biggest chunk of your calories burned throughout the day comes from. And then you have your NEAT, which is your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is walking. This is one that you have complete control over, and it's bigger than your exercise activity thermogenesis, which only accounts for 10% of the calories burned, which is actual genuine exercise. So you can get your NEAT up higher, make your metabolism, make your TDEE bigger. You can get your NEAT higher by walking, by fidgeting, by cleaning, and that helps create a larger deficit, because your exercise activity thermogenesis only accounts for about 10% of calories burned, and then the other one is your thermal effect of food, which is the calories your body burns processing your food. This is also another reason why higher protein diet is suggested, because protein requires more energy to break down in your body.
Food that triggers you, okay? If you have chips in the house and you know that that is one of your weaknesses and you're gonna eat that whole bag, stop buying chips.
Yep. Stop buying it. Exactly. Do not buy the chips. Stop trying to test yourself. The place to practice your discipline isn't when you're deep into a deficit. If you're at the grocery store, and I'm looking over here because my homie Home Goods, my homie Whole Foods is right there, because I need to get some sardines, or maybe I'll get some tuna. I don't know what kind of fish I'm in the mood for. I love tuna fish. But anyway, it's easier to say no at the grocery store than it is to say no at your house. If you have a bag of chips there, guess what? You're going to eat the bag of chips. Stop buying them.
Them in your house. Don't say, oh, I'll just have a little bit and then I'll put the bag away, because you know yourself and you know you're not going to put that bag away. Don't buy foods that trigger you. Yes, eventually we want to be able to eat all foods in moderation, but right now you know that you are not headstrong enough to do that. 4, drink water, okay?
Yep.
You need to drink water. We are adults and we can drink water, all right? Your body is thirsty. You're not always hungry. A lot of it is because you're dehydrated and you just need to drink some water. Put some flavoring in it. It doesn't matter. Just drink water.
Yeah, that is something that I talk about sort of frequently on here. It usually comes up when I'm doing what I eat in a day as a fat person trying to lose weight reactions, because a lot of people use the water flavorings and the enhancers, which as long as it's 0 calorie, it does not matter. I saw a comment once, someone was mad that I was shit talking people drinking diet sodas and flavor enhancers, and I'm like, I encourage people to use flavor enhancers. And the only time I'll talk crap about people drinking diet soda is if that's the only thing that they're drinking. If you are only drinking diet soda during the day, yeah, you shouldn't be doing that. But if you're drinking normal water or enhanced water plus diet drinks, there's literally nothing wrong with that. So do not put words in my mouth.
Number 5, keep yourself busy. Don't just sit on the couch and think about food all day. Get a hobby, okay?
Yep.
Go for a walk, leave the house, clean the house. Just don't sit there and think about what you're gonna eat all day. Number 6, you're not gonna like to hear this, but you need to track your food, because if you're used to eating a lot of food, you don't know how many calories are in the food you're eating right now, and you need to educate yourself so that you can make those adjustments. Number 7, 0 calorie carbonated drinks, okay? That means sparkling waters, that means sodas. They're gonna help you stay more full, and they're also gonna help with that sweet craving, okay? I like to drink a sparkling water or a diet pop before I eat a meal, so that when I'm eating the food, I'm going to be more full. That's it for now. Let me know if you want some more.
I love LaCroix and Bubbly and Zevia so much. So my coach Paula, she gave me a water goal, like a certain ounce per day. And there's like little checkpoints within the app that we use that you do, like hit your calorie goal, hit your protein goal, drink your water, like the ounces, whatever my step goal is, and then get your workout in. And I don't even need to track my water because your girl stays slamming LaCroix. I probably drink, oh God, close to 80 fluid ounces in LaCroix and Zevias on a daily basis because I love them. I also drink normal water also. Like as soon as I wake up, very first thing after opening my eyeballs is I grab my water on the side of my bed and I chug it. I probably should weigh myself first before chugging water, but I'm very thirsty when I wake up, which is funny because when I go to bed, I also chug water, well not chug water, but I drink a decent amount of water before I go to bed. I love water. I'm a little fish, but I also have, you guys probably saw the big cup. It's like this on my desk at work, and I fill that up probably 3 times a day. And that one is 24 ounces. So your girl will be staying hydrated. Yeah, those are all totally fine. I've been recording for 42 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna do one more and then I need to go because I need to eat, and then I have a lot of work that I need to do. Okay, my secret to losing 60 pounds. And then I'll save these other 2 for a different video.
The smartest thing that I did for my weight loss journey to go from this to this in such a short amount of time is called calorie banking. And let me tell you, as a girl who used to struggle with binging, it completely changed the game for me. Let's say you're in a calorie deficit and trying to eat 1,700 calories a day. Over 7 days, that would be 11,900 calories. Essentially, with calorie banking, you're just eating a few hundred less calories on a few days, so then you can eat more calories on other days. Monday through Friday, I would eat in a very low calorie deficit, so then Saturday and Sunday, I wouldn't have to track and I could eat freely. I could eat foods like Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell. I would go out with friends. I would have dessert every single Saturday and Sunday.
I don't agree with this method. If it works for her, great. I'm glad it works for her. However, she said that she was/is a hinge eater. So I feel like doing this is simply giving herself permission, because she said she doesn't track. She eats whatever she wants. She eats junk food. She eats candy, ice cream, In-N-Out, brownies, or whatever she showed. And it gives her permission to eat these foods. These foods still are not good for you. Of course, I always preach 80-20, 90-10, which I guess technically she is doing, but in her own words, putting herself in a very low deficit just to overeat junk food on the weekend, I don't think that's productive. I don't think that's solving your issues with food. I don't think that's conducive to someone who doesn't want to hinge eat anymore. And if anything, it will cause/lead to hinging, in my opinion. Again, if it works for her, great. I personally would not do this, and I would not suggest people to do this. That's just my own opinion. I'm sorry. So yeah, if that's something you want to try, more power to you. I just personally, I want to. I'm going to ask my coach about this. Let's see. Yeah, I'll text her and I'll ask her. Here, I'm going to copy this and I'm going to send it to her. What are your thoughts about this? I'm recording a YouTube video about TikTok fat loss tips, and this one came up. I'll tell you my thoughts, but I want to hear yours first, and I'm going to put your response in my video, if that's okay.
So 1000%, she's not wrong. She's absolutely not wrong. I also love the fact that she included in her video, I'm not saying that this is the best way to go about speedy fat loss or however she put it, because she's basically saying this is what worked for me. And honestly, I teach this. That's how I live my life in maintenance. So whenever I, am cutting, I'm very adherent to my caloric range every single day. However, let's say that if I'm just doing a typical cut and I go on a date night and I eat over my calories more than I intended to, I track it, and then the amount of calories that I would eat over, I would just remove that equivalent amount of calories from the next day or the next couple of days from fuel sources, keep my protein the same, and average out the calories. And that's like a short term, I call that damage control. This whole thing I refer to as macro math. But what she's saying is, she intentionally eats lower calories on some days, specifically for the ability to be more flexible on others and have a bigger buffer of calories she can hit on the others. The one thing I would say is that people who might take this advice would take it a little bit too far. And this can very easily turn into the starvation binge. I mean, like if people starve themselves on Monday through Friday, and then they think, oh, well, I was banking calories, so I get to eat a bunch on the weekend. That's where the mindset goes awry, and where people who aren't truly listening to what she is saying apply it in an incorrect manner. So back earlier, I said, this is how I live in maintenance. This is what I do. Like I eat the same structure every single day. I eat largely the same foods because I enjoy them. I hit my protein goal. But if there are some days where I want to add, I want to have a dinner that's higher calorie or something that had more fat than usual or whatever, and I just know that it was more calories than I typically have, then I can just reduce my calories the next day. And I kind of know how to eyeball that, but most people should learn how to do this via tracking so that they can see how it works out. So it's a very effective method, and people can do it in weight loss, but to her point, it's just not going to be the most effective way to see it speedy because most people practically aren't going to be as controlled as they need to be with this.
This was my thought too. It's also how I stay at maintenance because some days I'll naturally eat around 1,300 and others around 2,000, but it still averages out to my 1,700. What concerned me, and you hit the nail on the head, is for someone who has suffered or is suffering with binging, this method could be problematic if they lose the reins on the weekend eating a bunch of junk foods.
The thing, that's the biggest potential issue, and what I'm very explicit on with my clients, and the best way that I teach them how to do this is I'm like, hey, if you blow your macros, just track everything. Just track it because it brings awareness, one, to how much is in the food that you're eating that you otherwise wouldn't have learned. You wouldn't realize how calorically dense that food is. So it helps you know in the future the damage you're gonna do, and that will naturally deter you from overeating. And two, the other thing is it will help break shame around that. People shame themselves. They place this moral judgment on their decisions and say that, oh, it's bad for me to do this. It's bad for me to eat that food. It's bad. I was bad. I ate too many calories, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, this is just objectively, you ate over your calorie goal. Don't beat yourself up about it, adjust the next day and move on. And that's the biggest way that it helps people overcome the all or nothing mindset, because that eliminates the guilt and shame around it. And then they realize, I don't even know if I really want all of that because I can have it any time, theoretically speaking, so the value of it goes down.
When you mess up, how do you move past the guilt and shame that comes with overeating/hinging? A few steps that you can do is accepting it without the dramatics. You overate, that's it. You didn't ruin your progress. You did not fall off the wagon. You had a little more food than you originally planned. The faster that you treat this as neutral information rather than a moral failure is the faster you get to move forward. Again, reflect, do not punish. Ask yourself why it happened. Were you overly hungry? Were you bored, emotional, deprived? Learning from it is what breaks the cycle, not guilt. Getting back to normal immediately, not over-exercising, not restricting, just your regular meals. You keep things steady and back on track, your body and your brain both stop seeing food as a threat. All right, I sent it to her. We will see what she says. I will obviously edit that in. These other two I will get to at a different time, but again, I have my big girl responsibilities I need to go back to. If you have watched this far, thank you so much. Please check out my merch. I am restocking my stickers on, I believe, Monday or Tuesday, whenever the 21st is. I do still have some magnet bundles. For the rest of the magnet bundles, if you use the code magnet20, you'll get 20% off that. I found some super cute cute Trader Joe's cards that I am sending with all of those. They have little bees on it. And then the seasonal ones. Oh, so freaking cute. But yes, please like this video. If you have not already, consider subscribing if you are not already. Check out my channel memberships. Check out my 30-day habit tracker, my merch, my Instagram, all that good stuff. If you like me and my face and my content, consider following me there. I guess on TikTok too. I know, I'm trying. And until next time, goodbye.
Maybe we can get down.